How are you?
Yeah, I'm alright, yeah. Just a bit hot today. A bit sweaty. And probably the same everywhere, is it?
Yeah, it's disgusting.
It's horrible.
I'm just filming in.
Hey guys. Welcome to the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast. With your hosts, Jack Vincent and Nick Crooks. Oh, and by the way, they're from the north. That's the reason they sound that way.
I'm feeling a lot better now, but all day I've just been like, oh, we went to B&Q for the first time in ages. Proper adult shop. It was alright, actually, because you're spaced out, but you have to dodge a few old people now and then, because they just don't. Some of them don't listen, do they?
Just pick up a screwdriver off the shelf and just shaft it towards them if they get too close.
I should have done that.
Get a tape measure out and be like, just measure 2 meters and go, you're too close.
Their leathery skin can take a little bit of a prod. You know.
Were you at the beach today, Nick, did I see?
I was at the beach yesterday.
Oh, was it yesterday? Oh, okay, nice. Which one?
Filey.
Good choice.
And it wasn't like the pictures.
Look at you like, I'm just defending myself.
Because if I'd have turned up to that shit show, I'd have gone home. All right. You saw from my pictures, there was nobody about.
Well, this is the thing, right? I saw the pictures, and obviously I just saw straight away the beach, and I was like, someone's playing hypocrite here. And then I was like, actually, in this picture, there's literally no one there.
Yeah, there's literally no one.
So I was like, okay, yeah, you're not the 500,000 that are in Bournemouth or whatever. But
and to be fair, I've been working since the start. So I'm allowed one day at the beach.
I mean, I'm not sure Bojo will agree with you, but we'll see what we hear. Yeah, it's absolutely.
I've worked more than Bojo, so there you go.
Yeah, because he had some time off sick. I mean, he did have coronavirus.
What's your job, Nick?
I make boilers.
Do you?
Yeah. That is the most uninterested sound that comes every time I say that. Do you? I thought you'd have a bit more of a fun job, Nick. You're a fun person, We thought you'd have a fun job.
Well, my head was just going, I didn't realise people made boilers, but obviously they do, because...
The thing is, I say that they're boilers, but if I get into it, it just goes a bit further. So they pretty much heat hot water. So they're pretty much
hot water bottles. Oh no, they don't heat. Yeah.
Imagine if that's what I made. Just hot water bottles a day.
Oh, Lord.
That sounds like a hard job.
Oh, it's alright, I can do it, so.
No.
All he really does is sit and play Worms. That's legit.
To be fair, Worms has dropped off the radar. I've started watching Warzone, Call of Duty stuff on YouTube now, so that's my day. That's
literally your day. I mean, in all fairness, I've spent today in I was about to say a beer garden then. I haven't at all. I've been in a garden having beer.
But out of all of us here, Millie is the only one that's been productive by going to B&Q and actually getting something done.
I mean, technically, I've come home with a bag of shopping because I went to my mum's and that was like a socially distanced meeting. But obviously, I've been to my mum's, so she's like prepared me like a little pack away. And it's weird. I've not lived with my mum for over a year, but every time she goes to the supermarket and she sees something vegetarian, she picks it up. So I've come back with like a shopping bag. It's like I've been shopping. It's been brilliant.
It's her doing her bit for you. That's it.
My mum does that.
Yeah.
Because I'm veggie as well, so my mum's like, oh, I saw these nice slices for you. I thought I'd get some like mint.
As well, like my mum was there. She was like, "Oh, do you want some hand sanitizer?" I was like, "No, I'm fine." And then just before I left, she went, "Are you sure you don't want some hand sanitizer?" I was like, "If you want me to have some, I'll be fine." And I left her to it, and I just got in and unpacked the shopping. I was like, "That's 4 bottles. I don't need 4 bottles of hand sanitizer."
Oh, they worry, don't they?
Parents go bloody insane. Right, well, let's crack on. Nick, do you want to do the honours like we always do and introduce our fabulous guest?
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to do a proper decent intro now. You ready for this?
All right, wait. Let's do drum roll.
That's too long of a drum roll. Wait, you need to let me get it ready.
Do you mean too short of a drum roll?
Yeah, too short of a drum roll. Right, okay. Because I want to start with the whole thing of the show. Right, you are listening to the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast. We are here with Jack Vincent, as always, and our guest for the evening is Milly Armstrong-Clark.
Also, you are Nick Crooks as well. He's also
Yeah, well, everyone knows who I am, don't they, sir?
Everyone knows who I am. So yes, so we are joined by the amazing Milly Armstrong-Clark, who has also delved into the own podcasting world, haven't you?
Yeah. Since you probably felt the same when you were just like the start of lockdown. You're like, what am I doing with my life? I need something to do because I'm being furloughed, so I've not worked in it feels like years now.
Yep.
And I was like, right, I'm going to start a podcast. And that's such a white trash thing to do, innit? But
my favourite thing is it's such a white trash thing to do, and then you look at Nick's hat.
I'm not even bothered about that. Like, not even going to defend the hat because the hat can defend itself. Look at it.
So you set the podcast Tea with the Morale Queen,
right.
which is essentially yourself, and you have an interview. You've had your partner Robert Clark on. You've had Matt Hoss on as well, I believe, as well, and you Sadie Berry, who is kind of new to the comedy scene, who weirdly enough, fun fact about Sadie Berry, I booked her for a comedy night, had her on my night, great. And then I once went into my venue and was like just talking a bit of admin, and she was picking glasses up. Didn't know she worked there. I was like, what the hell? Didn't know you worked here. But you also...
she's really nice.
She's absolutely lovely. But you don't just have comedians on, do you? You have people from all walks of life.
Yeah, obviously. I wanted to get like an array of people on. I thought, it's a good way for me to get just people who I fancy chatting to. But usually you couldn't just be like, hi, do you fancy having an hour's chat with me? It's not really creepy, wouldn't it? Like, I do a podcast, so it's fine.
But what's even less creepier is we're going to have an hour conversation, but I'm going to record it. That's not creepier at all.
If this one, video it. That's really that's uber creepy. Yeah. But I agreed to it, so it's fine. I'm enjoying doing it, and I thought, I love tea. I love having a brew and a chat. I'll just base it around that. So yeah, I'm really enjoying it. But
that's such an English person's thing to do.
I know.
I love tea. I love a chat. Do you know what we could do? Let's make a podcast. I mean, it's a brilliant idea. I like that idea.
I just thought it was dead simple.
It is, and that's the thing as well. Because, but what I find really good as well is because you're a fantastic host on it. Because you're obviously asking the questions that when you're listening, you want to know.
That's good to know.
Because I remember when I listened to the first one, which was with your partner, who has actually gone and got herself published and is a published writer. Well, I was sat there listening really intently because I want to get a published. I've written a book. I want to get published, and I was there going like, I want to ask questions. And every time I was like, I'm going to ask a question, you already asked it.
Oh,
and I was like,
good.
I don't have anything to ask here. But no, it's you're doing really well. You seem to be getting everyone on. Is it a weekly podcast you're doing, or is it kind of an as and when situation?
Sort of as and when. Sometimes, when you hit them slumps on lockdown where you're like, oh, what's the point? And then the next week I'm like, yeah, I'm really motivated, and I've recorded like 3 this week. So like they're not all going out this week. They're going out staggered. But yeah, when you have like a sudden urge of like, I need to get loads of stuff done. Yeah. But yeah, I'm glad you like that first one, because I found that one the hardest. One because it was the first, and one because it's my other half. And obviously we've talked about his books, and we talk about his diabetes and things, and we've talked about that like a million times. Mm-hmm. But it's really hard to interview someone you really know really well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I agree, yeah. I think that sometimes as well, like, and Nick might be able to agree, is there's times where, not necessarily so much when it's a conversation when we have a guest on, but when me and Nick do the podcast when it's just me and Nick, sometimes it's a bit harder because we may be actually having a conversation that we've already had. But we've not obviously recorded it, but it was quite a fun thing. So it has to, you have to get like kind of the natural flow of it for the actual thing. But then also there's sometimes where you're having a conversation, you're like, I hope he's picking up on what I really mean here. Like when Nick interviewed me and was like, I know what your answer is to this, and I know you're going to lie right now, Jack, about why did I get into comedy. But yeah, it's nice and fun, and it's a nice little new take on it.
Oh, thank you. That's nice. I like getting feedback, and I'm enjoying your podcast as well. Can I say? I have actually
Good save.
Well,
Good save.
thank you. Yeah.
I've been listening while I've been walking my dog every morning. Well, not every. I'll walk her every morning. I don't listen every morning because that would just be like listening
Imagine
to
that.
reruns.
Yeah, imagine that. Big super fan listening to a massive reruns every morning.
You'd be like the ultimate fan. Like literally, people will message me and be like, "Oh, I really liked." Like I was speaking to someone the other day, and they were asking me some questions about podcasting because they're setting their own up. What else are we doing in lockdown?
Yeah.
And it was really weird because he said it and then he messaged and went, "Oh yeah, by the way, schools still take the kids swimming." And I went, "What? What the absolute hell are you on about?" I just was like, and then it light bulb moment. I was like, "Oh yeah, me and Nick had a whole conversation about this, but I just don't remember the episode."
First of all, I'm going to address that because they clearly don't. I mean, they were fighting to bring school meals for kids, right? But they can have a dip in a fucking pool.
I don't think they're doing it right now.
Well, no, I didn't mean right now, but you get the gist. Oh, if only we could knock some extracurricular activity on the head. But this swimming's too important for them.
And you can't swim if you're hungry. I'm sorry, but
yeah, Millie makes
just
a good
saying,
point.
yeah.
Very good point. Very good
I
point.
can't do anything if I'm hungry. Get hangry.
Yeah.
And then you're drowned if you're in a pool.
Yeah.
Angry and drowning. So nobody wants that.
That's the future.
That's Bojo's future. United Kingdom.
Can I just rewind a second? Nick, did you just say hangry and drowning?
Yeah. Because if you're hungry, you're tired, aren't you? You drown.
There's no D in drowning. Well, there is at the beginning, but not near the end.
Yeah, but this is just my Yorkshire accent coming out, alright? I cannot help that.
I cannot help that. Oh, jeez. Right. So, kind of getting into what we're doing. We've sent you away and said this is what we're going to. You bring some topics and what we're going to talk about. I will be very honest. We very rarely stick to a structure. As you probably know from listening, we normally just rabbit on. But there are a couple of things that we said just before that we do need to rinse on here. First of all, being that we all know you as Milly Armstrong-Clark, but that's not your name by the sounds of this.
No. Basically, my parents were like, I was a mistake. I'm just going to say that. And they were like, we need to come up with a name. Like me being created was a mistake. So they were like, oh, we need to come up with a name. And my mum was like, I really like Camilla. And my mum was like, I really like Millie. And then my dad was like, oh, you can't call her that. That's a maid's name. You've got to call her something a bit posher. So then they compromised with Camilla. But they never, ever, 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 ever call me it. Not once. It's always been Millie. I don't understand the logic, but I've got a posh name. And to make things worse, this is my own fault. When I got married, I was like, oh, I don't really want to get rid of Armstrong because that's like, obviously, it's a good name. I was like, but I kind of want to take Rob's name a bit, so I'll just double barrel it. So now I know I sound like a prick. I'm
you
sorry.
sort of have to keep it at Millie now because you know.
I know, that's just, everybody calls me Millie, nobody calls me Camilla.
Do you know what, though? It wasn't literally until I said it out loud that I actually twigged that Millie is short for Camilla. In my head, I thought your first name was Camilla, and then you just went by your middle name, which was Millie. It just didn't twig that, actually, you'd call someone the short name for Camilla.
To be fair,
Camilla.
I'm on that same thing with you. I didn't realise that either. I was just thinking, wow, I gave her two names and then just picked one that they wanted.
That literally just did not twig, and
lots of people say that.
That literally might be the two sides.
What I want to know is your dad said, oh, that's like a maid's name, but then wanted to call you it all the time. Like he didn't even put up a fight for the other name. You know?
If you met my dad, you'd realise that this was so him. It's just, but if I was a boy, he wanted to call me Jack, just to throw that in there.
Well, I think that's a terrible idea.
Hey, I'm named after the alcoholic beverage that my dad was drunk on when he conceived me. Well, not he didn't conceive me, my mum conceived me. It's just
part in it.
That's that Jacques cider. But he just went, no, I can't call him that because it's too French.
Yeah.
No, it was literally just the fact that my mum did not have the nerve to give my middle name Daniel.
Why did you want to?
Jesus Christ.
Well, I'm named after Jack Daniels.
Did they consider doing like going the full hog, Jack Daniel?
It's always been a joke. I don't really. I do know.
Your mum definitely considered it for a little bit too long.
Yeah.
Well, it's weird. So obviously, my surname is Vincent. My grandma wanted to call me Gene as a boy, so my name would be Gene Vincent. Yeah. Apparently, there was a singer in the 50s or something who called Gene Vincent, so she wanted to call me Gene. Or she wanted my first name to be Vincent.
Vincent.
Yeah.
Oh my God, what a stage name!
What?
Why didn't your grandma get a wish?
Because my
That would've
mum's
been
got
amazing.
a sense. My mum's got a sense of normality. So it came out that I was Jack, and then my middle name is just Thomas, which is just there's nothing to it. But I might change it to Jack Daniel. That could be a cool stage name.
Yeah.
Although it'd be hard to find me on, because I just get adverts for whiskey a lot.
Yeah.
But speaking about names, though, you did say that part of it was that our previous guest, Mr. James Bays, had a nickname for you. What's this nickname or name that
Not happy about this. Right, I recorded a podcast with him. It hasn't gone out yet. I don't know if it will have done by the time this goes out. I think I might keep it in. It was right at the start. I was just about to start record. Well, I started recording, but it wasn't meant to be part of the episode.
Yeah.
I think I might keep it in. And I was like, oh, just to check, is it Jim or James? And he went on this big thing. And I was like, yeah, I'm called Camilla, but nobody calls me. Just call me Millie. And he was like, you know what? He said that my full name, I sound like a Tory politician that definitely voted for nurse pay cuts.
Oh my God!
I was like, that is the worst thing anyone's ever said to me.
See, that's the worst thing. He's not actually said a nickname. He's just said it sounds like you are a politician.
Yeah, it's not even a nickname. He's literally saying, this is your name, and this see, oh, Jamesy.
Not happy. I was like, I've not even started recording properly yet, and I've got
Go fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, that's not going in. All right.
Screw you, Mr. Bays, and at the moment you posting numerous topless selfies. It's absolutely ridiculous.
I mean, if we're going on topless selfies, my story today was I've got the body of a Greek god.
I'm not gonna lie.
I don't know which one.
When I saw the story and I saw your picture, I was like, "Oh, he is giving Jim a run for his money."
I mean, did you like the fact that I put the Top Gun Playing with the Boys soundtrack over my beach?
I mean,
football antics?
I will be very honest with you. I am a 28-year-old guy who does not use the sound on my phone, so it was there. I didn't
watch that back and then watch the scene from Top Gun, and I guarantee, there's some funny stuff in there.
Yeah, it's as well. I only realised this when you start putting on your stories, advertising our podcast. It wasn't until I redid it twice. I went, "Oh, there's music to this." I didn't even know they would put music on top of this.
Yeah, it's just for the wow factor. Wow.
I'm obviously missing that wow factor. So Millie, comedian extraordinary. How is obviously you got the comedy as an outlet, but how much are you really missing the stage? How long have you actually been going now?
Yeah, not very long. I started August last year, and I was just really out of the blue. I was just all of a sudden I was like, I'm just going to try this, and then I loved it. I find it's weird to say that I'm really missing it because I've not even been doing it that long, but I really am missing it. I just miss the whole thing, going there, meeting people, having a drink, having a chat. It's just a nice night out, isn't it, in general?
I was saying this. I did a podcast with Keith Wilde yesterday. I also feel like in lockdown, this is all that we're doing. We're just doing each other's podcasts.
Yeah.
Going around, chatting to everyone on podcasts. But I was saying, I was like, that's what I miss as well is, the bit beforehand. I mean, Nick sometimes get to a gig 2 hours early for some reason. That's a bit weird, but, it happens. Right,
we're going to discuss this story. We obviously spoke about this story. We're going to discuss this story in depth in a little bit.
Yeah. But no, I missed the whole social aspect of getting together, having a chat, catching up. and with some people as well, it's like just catching up on each other's lives, but also catching up on stage experience and having just a good laugh. I was saying this to Steve. Right now, I'd love to go and see 2 hours of really shit comedy just for the experience.
Me too. Yeah. Oh, I'd watch anyone right now. Like, I don't even care how shit you are. I'd love it.
Just let me go.
It's just a night out. Yeah. It's just great. There's some nights I come home and I've driven to like 2 hours and 2 hours back, and I'm like stone cold sober, and I'm thinking, God, I've enjoyed that more than I've enjoyed any like long big drunk night. It's just like the buzz off it. Yeah,
no,
really
completely. Well, actually, speaking of which, and that leads on then to this night in depth. Then, so Nick, this night that you absolutely enjoyed to the highest extent. I'm going to let you just tell the story to Millie, but also to the people at home as well.
Right, well, as Millie will know and other people will know, that not all gigs are good.
Yeah.
Okay? And that's not because we're bad.
I'm going to put an asterisk.
I'm just going to point that out there because I'm going to say this, like, obviously Jack knows what I think about his stand-up. Millie was like 12 gigs in the first time I saw her at competition, and I saw her once and booked her for my night. That's how good I thought she was. So...
I'm just going to put an asterisk as well before he talks about, because obviously I know what he's leading on to. This particular gig, I really enjoyed. Go on.
Right. So I'm not really going to name the promoting company for it, but it was in Bradford. Okay. And I live in Bradford. So getting told to get there for like 7:30 when the gig doesn't start till 8:30.
No, it was more than that.
Yeah, no, it was 6:30.
Yeah.
Getting told to get there for 6:30 when the gig doesn't start till 8:30, and realising that no one else had been told that information. So I was sat in a dungeon, and it was a dungeon. It was a basement room, yeah, where nobody spoke to me. There was people around. Nobody spoke to me for 2 hours until Jack and everybody else got there.
I'd like to point out, if I remember rightly part of this story, didn't you actually go up to one of the barmen and go, I'm one of the acts? And they went,
yeah. And he went, oh, well done. All right. Okay. So should I just take a seat here or what? Like, where do you want me to go? So I sat there for 2 hours until it started. And then, this is the worst thing. So you go to a gig normally, you get told when you're going on, oh, you're on first, you're on last, blah, blah, blah. They said, we're going to do this one a bit different. You're going to write your name on a card. And then at one point, we're going to pull it out of the deck. And that's when you're on.
Oh,
Okay.
no.
On stage.
Oh, no.
Yeah. So, Millie, you might have seen me. I need to get a little bit ready.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I didn't know when I were on. So I was strapped up like that for like 3.5 hours because my card didn't get pulled out till last.
I was on first.
So I'd been there from 6:30. I didn't get home. Bear in mind, my house is 5 minutes away till 12:10. I could have gone home, slept for a couple of hours, gone back, and just been in time for my bit. And that, to top it off, I had to watch the worst improv group in the world.
Oh, no.
What was even funnier as well is at the break, I went home. I was like, I'm off, mate. I'm done.
Yeah, at least Marie stayed with me for a bit. And even
Yeah,
she went, I had to do the last hour on my own.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, no, that's awful. I hate not knowing when you're on. And you need to know, don't you? So you can have your, like, nervous way and whatever else you need to do.
No, you do. I found it was obviously a gimmick because I think as well the night was kind of based around this idea of pulling the names out of the hat. But to have a successful night, you need to be able to know when you're on, when your acts are doing. I mean, if you think about it, it didn't do too bad with positioning because, you know, if I was the opening act and you were the closing, that's still two quite strong contenders with everyone else kind of in the middle. I mean, Marie did absolutely fantastic that night as well.
Yeah.
But that was purely random. Whereas if it was a case that you had all your good acts at the beginning or all your good acts at the end, it wouldn't have been that cracking.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'm just going to open the window because I'm absolutely sweating. I'm just sat here like, oh, I don't want to interrupt, but
You know,
I'm
it's all right.
dying.
Like Jack can edit this out. He's got editing skills. He's got skills.
Kinda.
I'm never editing this out now. I can't do it. It's too hard. I've got that exact radio that Milly's got in her room at work.
Oh.
Can't. See?
Look at you getting your little knowledge in there of...
I mean, I couldn't tell you what make it is, and I see it every morning, but...
See, this is good quality humour. How am I going to edit this out now? We now need to know about this fucking radio.
I mean, the only thing is, it's exactly the same radio as Milly's. There's nothing special about it.
Nick has your radio at work. That's literally the conversation we were just saying.
Good radio.
It is. It's decent, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a DAB.
Yeah. I'd spilled a full pint of water on it once when I was drunk and it still works.
Yeah, we've had a leak on it at work and it still works. See, waterproof. I mean, I don't know what make it is, so we're not really a contender for advertising it.
I was about to say, the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast presents that radio.
Pure
There you
radio.
go. There you go. So you mentioned, obviously, you because if we went into lockdown about March time, and you started about April. I always get April and August mixed up. That's very weird. August. So you weren't going for that long. What are some of your stories or kind of gigs where you've gone, I could have stayed home and I'd have been okay with that?
Well, it's my first gig. So I live. Do you know where Pickering is? Bottom of the North York Moors, North Yorkshire.
Holiday there last year. It's nice.
Yeah,
I did actually. Yeah, it's really weird that I did. But,
yeah, it's quite touristy. So yeah, I can imagine you coming on holiday. And so I was like Googling because I thought, right, sorry, I'm waffling.
Waffle.
Well, we do this every week.
Right, I thought I'm gonna do stand up. I don't know how you do it, where you do it or anything. So I Googled open mic night, so that's a good way to start. And then I found one in York and I was like, right, I'm doing that. I decided the day, went to watch like the month before the open mic at the same place. And like, yeah, I'll do this. I'm really excited. So I'd been planning it for probably a few months in my head, and then I finally got there. And then so me and Rob went to have a meal, and then we went to the little bar bit upstairs of this open mic night and sat and had a drink, and I was really nervous. I was like, let's go sit outside because I'm just getting like really hot and nervous. And then there was two other people outside, but they were sort of round the corner vaping, and I didn't really pay any attention to them. And then I was just so nervous, like it was all I could think about, like getting on stage. I was absolutely dreading it. My stomach was churning like mad. I went to the toilet about 10 times before I went on stage. It was awful. And I was like, I'm going to throw up. So we're in the queue to go into this open mic night, and it was just one way, put your name down on the door. And I was just, it was just like literally music or comedy or any like poetry or anything. So I was like, I had my eyes shut and I was like rubbing my head, like trying to remember this set that I'd come up with. And I had my notes and everything. I was just like checking it. And then as I had my eyes shut, this guy just appeared in front of me and was like, "You've been really rude to my colleague." And I opened my eyes. I was like, "I'm sorry." And he was like, "Yeah, you need to go and apologise to my colleague now. He's been so rude." I'm not a rude person.
No.
And I'd always make like extra special care to be nice to people who were serving me. And I was like, what have I said? And I was trying to think of what I could have said that could have been taken the wrong way. I was like, I can't even think what I've said. And I was like, I'm really sorry. I honestly don't know what I could have said. And he was like, no, you've been so nasty. You told her that she belonged in the circus. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I haven't said that. And then he kept going on about it, saying, yeah, you said she was so small, she should be in a circus. And I was like, and I started laughing at that point because I was like, this must be one of the acts that's just like trying to get people on board, because nobody goes around and starts just like saying to people you should be in the circus. Like, that isn't real. He's definitely like a comedian. He's just doing a weird thing in the queue. And so I started laughing. I went, oh, I get it. You're one of the acts. So I was like, oh, very funny. You got me. And he was like, no, I'm being dead serious. And I was like, and I just kept laughing because I was like, oh, he must be joking. He must be joking. And then he was like, no, I'm being dead serious. You better go and apologise now. And then he stormed off. And then I was stood there like, oh, that was it. Because he said, you were outside vaping and you were slagging her off, and I was like, whoa, 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 call me what you want, but I'm not a bloody vapor. Come on. I was like, whoa. And then, so it turned out that the people that were outside vaping, which they'd sat like round the corner, so they must have slagged off the girl, and then they'd gone outside and he couldn't see them, and then she'd obviously said, oh, somebody told me I should be in a circus, and he'd looked outside and gone, right, them two, I'm gonna have them. And then he'd come like fully, really nastily confronted me in the queue, and it was awful. And you know how much your adrenaline's going just before a gig? I was like, and obviously the first time ever, you just like, you don't even know what to expect. So I was mad, like, I was so nervous, and then that happened, and I was like, what? So I was like, Rob, go put my name down on the list, I'm going to sort this out. So I stormed off, and I went to the girl, I was like, somebody said, because I realised there must have been a mix-up, I was like, somebody said I've been nasty to someone, and I don't realise what I've done. And and then he looked at her and he was like, was it her? And she was like, no, it wasn't her. And then his face dropped, and then he was like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. And then I started crying because I was just so hyped up for it.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't like to be accused of things. And I walked back. And then him and another colleague had to come over and be like, we're really, really sorry. That should never have happened. Can we get you any drinks? So we got free drinks.
Oh,
But still, I was like, my head just feels all over the place now because I had my set in my head, like going through it, and he's just thrown me off track. But the thing was, like, I would never tell anyone to be in the circus, but she was nowhere near circus small. Like,
do you know what? This is how funny this is. I was literally going to wait till the end of the story and say, but did she belong in a circus though?
If you went to the circus and she was there, you'd be like, can I have my money back? Because this is not circus small. And it was just awful. And then I was just so embarrassed, and I didn't want to cry. I was just like, my emotions were all over. Oh, it was awful. Then at that point, Rob thought I was going to turn around and be like, no, let's go. But I was like, I'm not letting him ruin my night. So I did it. And it went really well, and then afterwards I was like, it was all fine after. But I was like, what a weird start to doing comedy, because I just, when someone just throws you off completely.
Yeah. Like, you should have got up, and at the end you should have just gone, right, settle a debate. Thanks for having me, but settle a debate. Is she circus small?
I don't.
Someone said she is.
Out of all that, I don't know what was more upsetting: the nickname that Jim gave you, or being called a Vaper. I don't know what's worse.
Like a Tory Vaper, that's what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Milly Armstrong-Clark, the Tory
The Tory Vaper who doesn't like healthcare, free healthcare.
Or short people.
Or short
Yeah.
people.
That's insane, though. That is, I mean, no one has ever told that story as an origin story to comedy. Let's face it.
I know, it wasn't till at the time I was like, this is the worst night ever, like in the moment. And then when it had like sunk in, I was like, wait a minute, this is a mint story, because nobody has that for the first time.
You need to write that down and get that into a little ball of goodness to say.
Yeah, I know. I keep thinking I need to put that in a set somehow, but I don't want it. Like, I'm not making fun of the girl. She was lovely. She didn't do anything wrong. I want to make fun of the guy he wasn't like, can I just ask, did you say anything to my colleague? It was like, you did. I know you did. I know you were vaping.
The vaping, that's what gets me.
You need to make him to the smaller person. In this sort, so you need to sort of look down at him and go, and I said, look, she's not even that small. And make him like he's a short one.
Look, she's not even that bad.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a story and a half, though. That's going to be told in your Piers Morgan lifestyle. Well, hopefully not Piers Morgan.
Oh, no way. I'm not going on Piers Morgan.
They'll want you on there because they'll think Tory will get her on.
Oh, that is a good... But in all fairness, as an actual like gig itself, take the pre-gig bit out, but the actual gig itself, that's actually quite a good gig. That's actually not a bad... Your first gig, like you said, was successful.
Yeah. Then I came off stage because I was... Oh, God, I was nervous. When I watch back, my voice, when you've got a nervous voice, like... I kept doing that, and you know, in your head, you're like, control it, but
yourself.
You can't. Yeah. And I was pacing back and forth loads, and I was like, I just can't stand still. But the actual jokes and everything, I got them out, so it was fine. But I was like, I need to do it again, and then I went on the the comedy forum. I posted like, oh, I don't know what to do from now, and then people just started messaging me like, do you want to try this? And I was like, these people don't know. I could be like the worst comedian ever, but yeah, people just take a chance on you, which is nice, isn't it?
And that's the thing. As soon as you get as soon as someone recommends you to somebody else, that's the best thing.
Yeah, it's really.
I mean,
nice.
as a promoter, when I've spoken to other acts and stuff like that who've worked with you, I've only ever heard good things. So you must be doing something.
Oh, have you? That's nice. You don't know what people are saying behind your back, do you?
No, it's always a bit worrying, but
nice things.
And I know that I wasn't there when you did my gig because I was poorly. I had COVID-19. COVID-19 was cool. Just putting it out there. I had it before it was cool. Okay.
A few people are saying that they had it in November, aren't there?
I definitely had it. I was dead. Jack knows I would not give up my gig lightly.
Were you coughing?
I was coughing. It was like deliberating whether I could wet myself or just stay comfortable on the sofa.
Oh, I thought you meant
really?
No, that's how much pain I was in because I thought, do I need the toilet that bad or can I hold it for another hour?
I'd like to point out, I'm really glad you clarified that because originally I thought, so you had a symptom of just being unable to stop pissing. That's not COVID-19.
No, it's like laying on the sofa and thinking, I'm comfortable, but I need a wee.
I see what you mean.
My back's hurting. Can I hold it?
Yeah. Did you though?
I could hold it. I didn't never wet myself because I'm not that guy.
I thought it meant you just have a little pee in a cup.
I mean, I wish I had a cup. You know, that's the same amount of effort as to go get a cup.
Wouldn't have been a choice then. It'd all been sorted.
I mean, I had a long straw connected from this bottle of Lucasade. So, from a bottle of Lucasade because I couldn't.
Oh, right, okay.
So I just had this. You know, like where you put a straw inside a straw?
Yeah. I thought you meant to go into a bottle rather than. Yeah,
no,
okay.
I just had it like a catheter straw.
That was the Nice Guys of Comedy podcast with Jack Vincent and Nick Crooks, recording from their own home and heavily fucking edited. Follow them at I am Jack the and at Nick Crooks Comedy. Why don't ya? #NiceGuys.